I've been cautioned to be a little modest about our bombastic numbers, but it's honestly, there's no authentic way to be anything but have enormous pride and gratefulness about these extraordinary numbers.
So he's telling you, I just don't want to exaggerate the bombastic number, but it's a bombastic number. So for people who follow long enough, Alex Carp, you know your CEO, yeah, he's always giving bombastic statement. Sometimes there's reason why he shared bombastic statement because their result really bombastic lah. So they have this rule of 40 that we always share, like between your growth and your margin. If your growth is 60 and your margin is just 10, your rule of 40 is 70. Yeah. So if you exit rule of 40, means 40% above, your company, even though not making much margin, actually it still makes sense because the company is still growing. So this is the rule of 40 for high growth company. And they compare themselves to other software company like Intuit, Autodesk, Adobe are in this region. They are higher than rule of 40, all right? But they are lower than what Palantir is achieving at 94%. And if you compare to top 25 market cap company, so Palantir is here at 94%. There's another one that's they didn't highlight it as much is Nvidia, 120%, because Nvidia, their growth is at 100%. All right. TSM is also here. All right, TSM, Nvidia. So the rest of the Magnificent Seven is here. There's Meta, Microsoft, like Broadcom, Mastercard, all right, Tencent, Oracle, Google. So they are higher than 40%. All right. So this is no reason why they claim themselves. I'm not sharing bombastic number, but sometimes the number is just so big, so huge. Yeah, you couldn't deny it. Yeah, you couldn't see, but it's all in their earnings slide. But just highlighting the fact that they are the outlier. And we are so great and so good that I don't want to tell you we are so great and so good. So this is the long and short of what we're talking. There's some summary of numbers. US revenue is growing at 68%, 70%. Commercially, like 90%. Government, 53%. Yeah, so they close a lot of deals. They have free cash flow. Yeah, so these are the things that they highlight in the earnings. In their earnings, they also share what are the benefits the user get. There's this from Land Frost. They say production schedule used to take us about 40 hours. Right now, it can be done by 30 minutes. 40 hours. 2,400 minutes, right now is 30 minutes. So you see, wow, they are highlighting how good they are. So we put the first application into production in 3 months, reducing the time it takes to clear candidate to the foreign service from 60 days down to 12. From 2 months to 2 weeks. Fannie Mae can right now detect fraud from months to second. So these are just to claim they are very great. If you are watching and you're still not a subscriber, please subscribe. Support me. And what's more than that, there's this huge news that went out. Palantir lands 10 billion army software and data contract. So when you look at 10 billion army software, right now, so-called their quarterly revenue is at 1 billion, right? So 10 billion. Do you think it's huge? But let me tell you another thing. This 10 billion is across 10 years. When you say 10 billion across 10 years, means 1 billion a year lah. Not too bad, but the feeling is it dropped down a bit. I thought next year 10 billion. No, it's not 10, next year 10 billion. It's across 10 years, 10 billion. It's still huge. Yeah. So this is the things that I like to highlight. It's not to say 10 billion is immediately next year 10 billion. It's across 10 years. So we also have to be aware of this kind of like insights that is not covered in the title. Yeah. But what's more than that in this 10 billion contract is this. All these like so-called software or defense contract, right? It used to go to all those traditional boys. Who are the traditional boys? Which is, what is it called? Lockheed Martin. The defense industry, there's a few boys. So previously, all these contracts were assigned to old boys. So Palantir has always accused the government of not having this open platform to select a high performance company to support the army defense. All right. So it historically favored the traditional defense. And there's one incident that raised up. There's this 6 billion like army software that are too complex and effective in the field. So they spend 6 billion on these old boys and it's ineffective. and it's unused due to reliability issue. Because of this incident, they opened up for Palantir to go in and secure contracts. And right now, because their model have been changed, right, in the sense that they have this AIP calls, there's this like 5-day boot camp for people to try, and then you buy small, and then you decide later whether you like to increase or should like to subscribe more. So right now, because there's different entity within the army or different entity under the umbrella, right? So right now they consolidate everything, consolidate the 75 contract into one, and this 10 billion contract they allow the flexibility from the army to select, to choose, to try, and then decide later, right? So this is the inroad that they make, which is big time, inroad 10 billion. I give you this 10 billion contract in the sense that you let me try, and then I decide, buy and decide later. So these the inroads that they able to secure and secure big time. All right. Yeah. Then I just now raised up like 10 billion across 10 years, right? And another big thing about 10 billion across 10 years, it gives visibility. So right now, 10 billion across 10 years, we just divide accordingly. What we'll be looking at across maybe 1 billion every single year across 10 years. We just simply divide that. So we have 10 billion revenue visibility per se. So it gives the investor some assurance or certainty for some form of revenue for the next 10 years. So these are two big things from this news. And of course, after this news, there's some volatility, but after the earnings, the share price shoot up. So this is the news about it. On the full year revenue guidance, this is a very powerful things that the statement or the guidance that the company give. So just look at the revenue guidance. So Q1 2025, they give revenue guidance of 3.8 to 3.9 billion. And Q2 2025, they increased the full year to 4.1 to 4.15. They revised upward. And in actual fact, this quarter is the first time they break 1 billion per quarter. The first time they break 1 billion in a quarter. And it suddenly ring my bell. If you have followed Palantir long enough, and you invested long enough, and then listen some of the sharing that we have initially, that these figures is the figures that I would definitely look closely at, is this. So in 2020, I think it's like quarter 4, Q quarter 4. I think one is quarter 4. They say 5-year revenue outlook. Revenue of 4 billion or more in 2025. Back then, they just make 1 billion. Then they just make 1 billion. Within 5 years, they quadruple. Within 5 years, they quadruple. So back then I was like, okay lah, you are very ambitious lah. Let's say you didn't hit 4 billion, you hit 2 billion. Means you double your revenue in 5 years. If you double your revenue in 5 years, rule of 72, you divide by 5. So it's close to 18-19% per year. Not too bad, right? Yeah. But they really quadruple. And they really achieve it in 2025. Starting ring my mind. Yeah. Actually, investing is not too difficult if you make it simple. Yep. I make it a little bit complicated. So that's why there's some investment sold too early. Not sold too got sold too early. Yep. So this is the thing. Some of the times when you invest long enough, right? So these are the things that you face. It's yeah, the revenue really strikes. So if you look at the company result and then you look at long enough, right? Do you think the words of the management carry more weights? So I said I target 4 billion and I delivered. Yeah, so yeah, no doubt the market give a lot of faith and confidence in Palantir. Even though their price to sales ratio is really freaking high. How high is it? 110 right now. Yep, their revenue is growing. Their growth is like in 40, 20, in the 16, in 2, 3, right now go back to 28, right? So right now, this one is show last 12 months. So if it's December 25, it really hit 4 million, right? It's actually close to 50% growth. It's really close to 50% growth. Let's look at this. Right now, price 160. Assuming revenue really hit 4.2 billion, right? Their price to sales ratio is still at 90 times. Yeah, it's still at 90 times. So that's why, even though my share got sold, I couldn't buy back because it's really too expensive. The price was just really too expensive. Our Malaysia Anda must learn from Alex Cup. Yeah. All right. So maybe just a consensus right here. Price to sales 90 times. Do you think it's expensive? Do you think it's cheap? If it's expensive, just type in 1. If you think it's cheap, just type in 2. You can think it's cheap one, right? Because let's say, like Nvidia, if not just 50%, if you think that this within these 4 years, right, as long as Republican Donald Trump is still in the seat, right, actually Palantir can gather more government contract. If you think that direction, right, you think they can continue to go 50%, 100%, right? Yeah, price to sale will come back down. Yeah. Yeah, really depends on what you're looking. But 109 type, what it's too expensive for me lah. Right? For me, it's too I cannot. Even if we're down 50 time price to sales, right? Let's say they can grow by double. Their price to sales can go back to 20 in a 20 times, which is high, but I would still say so-called okay to take like 50, forward price to sales 50. But forward price to sales 90 is okay. I really have to let it go. I might be wrong because I've been wrong in Nvidia. Yeah, so I didn't invest like much in Nvidia other than using Tigerbolt's cut 1% rebate to to buy Nvidia. I didn't buy Nvidia shares. All right. Yeah, so I've been wrong in a lot of things. I just like to control my risk, not to expose myself to too much of risk of losing money. So this is the conclusion that I have for Palantir. In there a day, just like to raise this quote again. Price is creation of the market mood. All right. In boom, it's set by the greediest buyer. And in bust, it's set by the most fearful seller. So this is the Wealth Pulse QR code, or you just go to click.google.com/join-wealthpulse or -WP to join our every weekly session. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube, just search Google channel, subscribe, follow, hit like. So thanks again for all your support. I hope all these sessions give you clarity, give you enough turbulent management, so for us to continue to keep healthy, keep happy, and hot in the market. Thank you, everyone. So that's all for tonight. I will see you next week. Bye bye.